Hello, welcome back to the TUG podcast. I'm joined today by my co-host TUG Crashley, and we also have a special guest joining us today for an interview to talk about his career with the Marines, Manny.
Hi.
Yo, what's going on, Tuggers?
But yeah, so this is again a different one this week. We thought we'd try something new. We'll see where it goes. We'll see if people enjoy it. So yeah, I mean, if you want to give us a quick brief description, obviously, like I asked you the other day, like what you did in the Marines, and then we'll work from there.
Alright. Well, pretty much yeah. I only actually joined the Marine Corps after I got out of high school in 2013, and I did that for like 4 years. So I really all I really did with the Marines was supply. I mean, it's not that bad, not that bad of a gig. I learned business that way. Um, pretty much that. Like after I got out, it's just did security jobs really, and reenlisted as a infantryman in the army. And on my off time, like I'm usually just whenever I'm not doing the reserves or uh, anything else, really, I'm just actually really working as a security guard outside of school.
Okay. Well, that's a nice brief overview. Gives the people listening a nice footing on where we're starting at.
So
So,
yeah,
Josh, do you want to start it off with questions, or do you want me to?
yeah. Where's the So did you ever like get sent out to places?
W- with the Marines, I actually only really went to Okinawa and Korea. It was
Oh,
pretty fun.
oh,
Like there was one time in 2016 where I got set on ship for RIMPAC 2016, which is actually pretty fun. Don't get me wrong, because like it's all the countries in the rim of the Pacific to kind of like guard the that really are set up to protect the Pacific Rim from any threats,
yeah.
to include China uh, and those guys. Um, we actually did pretty much fun. Like it was all fun really.
So, what was you doing when you was out in Okinawa and Korea?
Really show the force. Sorry, my son.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Um, but pretty much like it was just show of force training with the Koreans and the Japanese. Really, just kind of like a show of force in the Pacific, saying U.S. is
So, like,
helping her
we have
allies.
we have the ability to mobilize and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, with what most people see, like they do protest the bases on Okinawa a lot. Some of them are paid protesters, from what I've been told. Uh, at least, with certain of the bases that they're protesting, they've been paid off by foreign governments to kind of try to uh, disavow the U.S.'s influence in the
Yeah, I
country.
mean that.
I mean,
Well,
not saying that the local population also is doing it themselves as well, given certain stipulations. Like uh, a lot of the reason why the locals have been protesting a lot of the military over there is primarily because of the fact that there was a lot of criminal cases that happened with either a contractor or little things like that with 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 some of the service members on island as well.
so how long was so when you was deploying to Okinawa and Korea? How long was you out there for?
Mm, give or take 6 months. It usually depended on what we were doing out there.
So, like 6 months apiece in Okinawa and Korea, or switching between them in the 6 months.
Within the 6 months, like it was kind of hard to kind of really convey because they do still kind of do that right now. Because
Mm-hmm.
operational security wise, like I can't really say how long they stay there or anything like that. Um, but usually turnarounds are roughly like 6 months. It just depends on the unit and what their operational standpoint is within the Marines, Army, anywhere really.
Okay.
So it sounds
So
pretty
I
cool.
Yeah, I've got a like very basic one, but like it's more of a kind of for the back of it. What was it that made you join the Marines?
Really trying to get out of home. Like go somewhere new. Don't like not really stay. I knew college wasn't for me right out of high school. Like most of my buddies thought college was for them. By all means, I admire the fact that they got their degrees and stuff like that. But the ability to travel was more so on my part. Like I really wanted to learn new cultures. I'd rather learn about the cultures than sitting behind the desk and learning about the culture from behind the desk.
So again, going like all the way back to the beginning, what's basic like? Because I mean, obviously you see like Marine basic training in movies and stuff and whatnot, but like, what's it really like being there and going through it all?
Um, Going through it all, I thought it would be a little bit more closer to if you've seen the movie Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, I know what you're
It's
about.
still kind of like that. At least when I went,
Mm-hmm.
less with well, the drill instructors were less aggressive, like so they couldn't really put their hands on us as much as I was expecting. That doesn't mean that they actually still got their point across to us. So like there was other ways that they could make us pay in a sense. It's think of it like when you join a college fraternity, right? You have those hazing rituals, right? Those
Yeah.
initiation rites. Basically, that's what most of them basic is. It's just uh, in a formal sense an initiation, and it's um, controlled hazing. So like if we got in trouble or if we did something that the drill instructors saw that was wrong, they would give us incentive training. So basically we'd go in the sand pit for like 5 minutes. Even though it felt like forever, it was insane. Like at one point, like I had burst a vessel in my left eye as I was doing that, and I was just from pure yelling.
Mm. Um. So I've got one. So you said you were in the infantry when you re-enlisted, yeah?
I re-enlisted in the Army Reserves as an infantryman.
What? It might sound stupid, but what did you really do in the infantry?
Um, well, not much now because my unit is actually really we're just doing a lot of training,
Yeah.
and they have me with um the S3 section, so I'm just basically um just a busy bee right now,
Yeah.
just a worker bee in the headquarters
Is there
element.
sorry, is there anything else that like you would have wanted to do in the army?
Honestly, I'm kind of thinking about like trying to be a drill sergeant with them.
That sounds pretty cool. Oh,
So I've got one that's kind of time based. So obviously you enlisted in 2013, and then when did you re-enlist to the reserves?
Um, so I got out in 2017 from the Marine Corps,
Mm-hmm.
and within a year, I was trying to stay in the Marine Corps. So I was trying to apply for active reserves or reserves positions. I got denied multiple times, uh, but that was just on my part, I guess, or however they saw it. But there's no bad blood between me and the Marine Corps in that regards. But kind of was upsetting being told no by the branch that you first joined. But when I started talking to the Army, it was like roughly around 2018 is when I reenlisted with them. And having been out for a year, it was just like it was a little bit more better for me because I just rather prefer the regimented lifestyle of the military life.
Yeah. So obviously in regards of having re-enlisted and whatnot, do you think the general structure and everything has changed with uh, uh sort of the world and America and whatnot progressively getting more politically correct, if that makes sense? Like, do you think a lot has changed in the time with things like that coming into play?
I mean, it's changing the whole dynamic. If that's what you're trying to get at,
Yeah,
it
like
really it really is changing the dynamic because with what I'm hearing or at least with what's coming down the grapevine uh, from the Marine Corps onto the Navy, Air Force, and the Army. Like they're changing a lot of the practices because people can't handle the stress. The fact is the reason why basic is the way it is. It's just really like it's to toughen you up in
Yeah,
a sense.
it's
It's going to set you up for the situation that were you to be in combat. How are you going to respond? No one's gonna care if you're stressed and you hold up a stress card. As much as they think that's a good idea, that's not the best idea because that's just empowering weakness.
well, I mean, yeah, I totally get it from that aspect as
Yeah.
well because I mean, if you're in the middle of a gunfight, like they ain't gonna hold off because you're feeling stressed. So driving it home in training is the best thing because at the end of the day, the training purposes are there for one to get you ready, but two to
Just
basically
in the mindset to just get
give you
used to it.
yeah the mindset to get used to it and to be in that mindset of um it's either kill or be killed essentially, like it's to get you there and to drive that home.
Yeah. It's really just trying to get everyone back home safely in the long run. As far as politically correctness goes, I mean, we're n- I'm just gonna say it, we're never politically correct within the ranks. But
It's one of them things though. It's how, I mean, I don't know, well obviously you're saying it is for the American army as well, but I know for it's the same in the British army. It doesn't really change because it's how it's been and it's how it's kind of it's driven into it, but it's not necessarily a bad thing because it helps everyone in the long run.
yeah, it really does. Because like in yeah, a lot of the time, most people in the military and a lot of the people I've talked to who have seen actual combat, who've been on boots on the ground in country in Iraq and Afghanistan, they have told me that the reason why they came up with the names like for example Haji, like simple names that's dehumanizing the enemy in a sense. It's just to get rid of that humanity so they don't hesitate. You know, there
Hmm.
that's where the political correctness kind of isn't really there. But even in the long run, like you'd rather like would you rather face someone that you know is human or something that you know is just evil
It's
that you
more of
perceive?
yeah, it's more of a coping mechanism than it is like
Yeah,
a something to mean general like offense. It's something
yeah,
to reinforce the mindset and make sure they're the ones coming out of the situation alive.
yeah, exactly. And like so I kind of like personally with what's going on in the in the U.S. as of right now is kind of like upsetting to me, but it's kind of like disheartening to actually really see that people are wanting to use that as a kind of like a ploy as a card to kind of really pass judgment in a sense, like just because I'm either black or Hispanic or anything
Hmm.
that gives me an excuse to act a certain way. Which
So I would be right in saying when you enlisted, you will have still been under the Obama administration.
yeah, under his
Yeah.
first term,
So when you re-enlisted, well, you will have served both under Obama and Trump, correct?
partial, yeah.
Yeah, so has um the difference of them two, has there been differences within the way that the army well, the army and the Marines operate for better or worse?
Um, Situationally, I mean, they haven't changed their operating, the way they operate, under uh, either administration because of like the whole political situation. They were more so, um, they're just evolving with the times. The army has been evolving like long before the Marine Corps has, and the Marine Corps is more of a traditional institution, so um, it's a lot harder for them to kind of transition into certain things because of certain stigma that has already been in place for almost a few centuries now. Has been given.
Um, Oh,
given the Marine Corps history, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background that they are attempting to change, but they're not changing fully just yet.
I mean, I know you said you've got a few questions to ask Josh. You got anything?
I've got a question. It kind of goes off of kind of what you said earlier about what what kind of inspired you to join the Marines? Like, was there any like inspiration that stood out to you to join?
Okay, most people like think that it's like the whole ideal of being a Marine. In my honest opinion, it was just that sexy ass blue uniform.
Just wanted to be a
That's
Marine
that's what did
uniform.
it. That's what did
That's
it.
what did it. That's what did it. I mean, I was doing my like throughout high school. I was actually like doing my own personal research, trying to make sure which branch was the right one for me personally. I went to the army first, asked them questions, but I kind of got snubbed by them because I was only a junior in high school. So I was like, all right, whatever. I didn't want to join the army anyway. You know,
Yeah.
Air Force
Hmm.
was never at my school, so it's like, all right, I don't want to join y'all because I don't get the information from y'all anyway. The Navy and the Marine Corps were there a lot, and I mean a lot. They were trying to yoke people up like in and out.
Yeah, I get you. What do you call it? If you could like give like feedback or like say anything to somebody who wants like join the Marine Corps or the or the army or anything like, what would your advice be to them?
Um, Honestly, choose a job that you feel like is the best for you because no one can really tell you whether or not you can or cannot do a specific MOS or a specific job.
Ooh, I'm
And that
feeling kind of inspired now to join the army.
it's like most people are gonna say like I've heard every excuse in the book from many people. They go, "I would have joined, but my girlfriend or my mom didn't want me to join. They didn't want me to go into war." And like, no, admit to yourself that you didn't want to join in the first place.
I was saying
And
not every job's like being on the front line, is it? So you've got the
yeah,
different
no,
aspects
I
to
was
it.
supply for crying out loud
Exactly.
with
You
them.
do have desk jobs within the army,
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
clerks and stuff. You have there is a lot of
like
different
logistics.
aspects. Yeah.
like with the Marines, I was a supply administrations clerk. I mean, yeah, I was with an infantry unit, but I was directly behind the wire a lot of the time, managing their property and stuff like that. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just straight up combat with any MOS,
Yeah,
specifically combat related MOSs. It's just one of those things that people need to understand, whether they be in the U.S., Australia, any nation that has a standing military.
yeah. No,
Not all the militaries are straight up combat.
I reckon if
Third world countries might be more combative than anything because that's all they need to do. They're trying to set their place in the world anyway.
yeah, no, I reckon if someone's looking at joining like enlisting, I say go for it. You can actually get jobs coming out of the army like to
You can
do
get a lot of
exactly.
qualifications from it.
So
There's a lot of stuff that you can get. Like with the U.S. military, they give you free college for at least 3 years of service.
see, so
I'm using some of those benefits for college.
it's good shit. It's good shit.
So I've got two questions that both really like they tie into each other. So both best and worst experience between like the Marines and the Army.
There's plenty of best and worst experiences. Like there's
The
really not
the
one I can
the
really say.
the one best that stands out, like when you think back on it, you're like, yes, that is what I'm glad like I joined the Marines for, or the Army. And then worst is like, yeah, that's the point where I was like I kind of wanted to leave, but like I didn't.
Um, Honestly, the best thing for me, at least with either branch, was actually just the camaraderie, the brotherhood that you get out of it. It's like that's the best thing ever. Like that's what kind of made it worthwhile with the Marines. Because when I left my shop, I mean, they gave me a heartfelt goodbye. I mean, I still have the plaque that they gave me, just because like it's kind of like a little bit of memorabilia from them. It's like I would never forget with what what one of my fellow sergeants said before I left, that he was he was really the sergeant's name was Sergeant Bandrel, and I believe he's a drill instructor now. Um, I believe he's a staff sergeant. Don't quote me on that, but he he actually told me something that stood out to me. Like, he kind of admired the fact that I didn't let anything that was being said behind my back phase me.
So it's pretty good.
Mm.
Go on.
And the
Go on.
worst thing about it was really dealing with all the backlash with certain things that you do. Like, really, like, not saying that I was the one who did it, but like not being able to drink was kind of like the worst things to do in Okinawa.
Yeah. What you call it? Going off of what you said, obviously getting like the brotherhood and that. Did you ever come across people that you really didn't get along with?
There's plenty of people I didn't get along with. Most of the ones were retards who didn't really, uh, who I felt weren't worthy of the title.
Huh?
So, I just had the question and I've lost it now.
Must not be important then.
No, it was, and I can't think now because I was paying attention to what he was saying. But so would you say overall it was just like a great experience? Like you wouldn't have changed anything that happened?
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't have changed anything that happened. Like, I mean, like, if I hadn't joined, I mean, I don't think I'd be the same person I am today.
Did any of your friends enlist with you, or was like sort of you was the only one from your friend group that enlisted?
Out of my class, I was the first one. I started seeing a majority of my classmates and some of my friends join after. Like, one of them I actually bumped into during my last couple weeks in on at Paris Island. Like, I bumped into him, and yeah, quite a few of my friends, like, were actually there after I had joined, but I was already on my way out. So I was like, it was pretty good. It was pretty dope seeing them at Paris Island.
You got any more questions, Josh?
I'm trying to think of someone as far right now. You know.
I just want to double check with you, see
How
if you got anything in
like
there
if
hatching.
so going into the like Marines, you know, how did it change you like towards the end of it?
Towards the end, like,
Like, did it make you more like confident or, you know, kind of things like character attributes?
uh, entering, I was kind of serious. Like, entering the basic and all that stuff, I was kind of serious. After leaving basic, like, I became a little bit more loosey goosey and just more, I guess you would say, like, retarded about things. Like, I didn't care anymore. Like, I literally had a devil may care attitude afterwards. Like, I didn't really much care with what people said or about what I did. So it's like, I still upheld the standards and stuff like that, but still, I just didn't really, like, I was just having a little bit more fun than most people
You
at
going
that
loosened up
point.
through
a bit.
it,
Yeah, pretty
going
much.
going through it at the start, was it like, because I know the one thing for me, like the one thing I'm scared about enlisting is my nerves. So like, at the start of it, were you like nervous or anything?
Oh, by all means, I was nervous almost every single day because I didn't know when a drill instructor shark attack was going to come out of nowhere.
I know, me, I'm kind of like nervous when it comes to like meeting new people and that, and so it's kind of difficult, I must say, and I think it's like kind of brave people
My
getting
my
list.
my honest my honest suggestion to that, like, to kind of combat your nervousness and your kind of like over cautiousness with it, is just really just, you're gonna have to face it at one point, because obviously, like, throughout life, you're gonna meet new people.
I'd say you're not really going to achieve nothing by sitting back and not doing anything. So at some
Yeah,
point I'll get
exactly.
there, but
Um, a famous saying, a quote I usually go by Teddy Roosevelt. Um, what is it? The man who can say who he never made any mistakes has never done anything.
Oh yeah, true.
Like that's one thing that like I kind of like abide by, because if you can't really say that you made mistakes, can you really say that you achieved anything, right?
Oh, that's got me questioning now.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
that's a very that's a good one.
I feel like you
So
learn something new every day.
are you still in contact with a lot of people you was in with while you were serving, or is like there only a
Yeah,
select few?
there's some people I still stay in contact with. Um, like I do talk to them every now and then, just given time difference, since I'm in Hawaii still.
Hmm.
Whoever's still on the island, I still talk to. But some people who are in other parts of the country, I try to talk to as much as possible and try to kind of like communicate with them a little bit. But just given time difference and their own life as well, kind of like conflicts with that. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I do stay in touch with as much people as I can, as I feel comfortable with.
So I think we've been going for a nice amount of
I was gonna
time. You've
say
given us
I've got
you've
one
oh
cliche interview
go on,
question.
go
So,
on.
oh man, I feel cringed just saying this, but if you weren't in the Marines or and you didn't re-enlist in the army, what would you have preferred to do?
If I didn't join either branch,
So yeah, what job would you have like to go for?
I probably would have actually tried an attempt in my hand at carpentry, because my dad ran a carpentry business and remodeling business, and I usually did that with my mom. So
Mm,
it's like try to keep that business booming. That's honestly one thing I would have done, is like flooring or remodeling in general.
that's
I've
quite nice.
I've got one gimmicky question to end the whole interview on, and that is, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
One superpower, what
One
would it be?
superpower.
Uh, Honestly, I'm not sure how to answer that. Like,
I already
there's
know
so many good
mine. It's so easy.
ones to choose one. Like, there's so many good ones, but I guessing health regeneration.
Oh, to be fair, that's a good one.
Oh,
Like
that's a good one.
healing powers. I know every time I've
Yeah.
been asked that question, I've always gone the ability to manipulate time. Because if you ever
Nah.
late to so if you wake up and you're like, oh shoot, I'm gonna be late. Pause time.
I'm a beat you with that
Okay,
one.
I was thinking that you were gonna like try to turn back time and just be
Oh
like,
no, no.
be
Well,
like
only
try to
like
change
to
something.
stop and like play time. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Yeah.
I'd have you ever seen the film Jumper?
No.
Yeah,
Basically he can just like if he visualizes somewhere, he can
but doesn't he
teleport
have
there.
to see?
That would be good.
Okay,
Yeah, so
so
he has to like visualize it. He has to see, but like you could just pull an image up on your phone of like Rome, and you'd be like, bam, I'm there, done.
okay. See, what I was thinking is like, I was thinking of if y'all seen Black Clover.
Yes,
Ooh, I
I
have
have.
Yeah,
not.
the spatial magic and stuff like that. You have to be there physically first in order
Yeah,
to
the
tell
who
it.
is it who has that power?
It was the one who hits on every single female.
Yeah, he dyed his hair green. I know who you're on about, but he has to physically visited that place before he could actually like teleport to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's pretty cool ability.
But I think that's a good place to wrap up. So, Manny, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
It has
it's
really
been a
been,
Thank you for
pleasure.
it
having
has
me.
really been, it has really been a pleasure to learn all this stuff and kind of get an insight to what it's like. But I'll let you handle the outro, Josh. You know what
Why,
to do.
thank you, Mr. Ewok. As always, you guys make sure you go check out Fake Grips. They do really comfy and affordable grips for very low prices, and you can get that price even lower if you use code TUG at checkout. That'll get you 20% off your purchase. I know, Joker, do you want to do your plug? Because I know you're associated with them, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm affiliated with them. So if you use code TUG, or you can use mine, which would also help assist me as well. FZDJKR for Phase Joker.
So there you go. You got 2 promotional codes there. Make sure you go use them. Help out Joker. Help out us. We'll also link the socials down
Yeah,
below.
follow them
So
down
make
below.
sure you go follow them. We are going to start doing a sort of like a contest type thing. So if you send us your clips, we'll pick out some of the best ones and put them on our socials. Try and promote you, get you out there. But yeah, that's going to conclude today's podcast. So
It's been a pleasure.
I hope you've all enjoyed. Thank you, Manny, obviously for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
we shall see you next time, guys.